turn and talk. Check numbers 1 through 4 on the homework with each other.
Why here did we just drop the parentheses and put plus 15?
Because you had to lose these parentheses, we distributed the -1. And then once that negative was distributed, now we could just combine like terms.
Okay.
Good question. You guys checking? Jadiel, who you check with? You checked? So can you check with each other, the last two? Do you guys match?
Yeah.
There's only one right answer. You checked with each other? 100% good? Show of hands, who's ready to talk? Fantastic. So let's check answers. Do we match for 1 and 2? Awesome. Now, on remind, I did send out a note that in the flipped video, we had worked with decimals, but to help us with what we're doing today, I did ask that you go back and stick with your fractions. As I was walking around, I did see that, so thank you very much for going back and making some edits. Let's take a look at 3 and 4. Show of hands, who matches with me? Roughly half. No, we're still looking. I'll take half. We're going to keep working on fractions. So notice, even for myself, I was very clear with showing that work to get common denominators for 8/15 and -4. So if you don't have this little note, I want you to think to yourself, wow, Miss J made that little note for herself. It will be really good for me too. Yes. Yes, we will be working with fractions. On the assignment as a whole, 1 being least confident, 4 being most confident, can I get a vote? 3, 4s, 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 3s. I got a 3.5. I'll take it. 3, 2. What's this? 2, 2. +2. Yes? No. No -2s. All right, I saw mostly 3s and 4s. That's great. We will be building on this concept of working with the fractions in today's notes. All right, so if you look at our agenda for today, we definitely have a packed schedule. I'm going to try something new because I thought to myself, wow, we've got so much going on, which is great. But I'm actually going to, from now on, when I'm recording class, see that little timer up top? I'm going to use that to help set my own pace, and then we'll be checking these off as we go. So the homework is all set. What was the other document I asked you guys to have out? Notes from yesterday, from last night. So make sure you have those out because we're actually going to start with our warm-up, which does require the rewriting notes that you have. So take one moment to read it yourself, and then right away you can actually start talking with the neighbor about it. For you. Present. You're welcome. go ahead and start talking with the person next to you or behind you about your thoughts. The questions A, B, and C are what we're now discussing. How are these methods similar? How are they different? So some people are starting to jot notes. Because this is intended to just be a quick warm-up for our brains, I'll give you about a minute to talk with each other before you share your ideas with me. Right? So go ahead and start talking with each other, your thoughts.
They're also hilarious because the first step you have to do in like both kind of find X so that you can find Y.
I've heard some great pieces of a conversation that I would like to now bring all into one place. So how are these methods similar? How is what Christine and Kate did the same? Lydia?
They're both trying to find the vertex.
They are both trying to find the vertex. And what do they do first? Because vertex is like a bigger picture idea. What's the very first thing they did?
Find X.
Yes, very good. So both are calculating or finding the X value of the vertex first. Now, is this what Christine said she was finding? What did she call it in her explanation? She called it the axis of symmetry. Is that correct?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, because first is finding the X value.
And the X value of the vertex is the axis of symmetry. Very good. So both are calculating the X value of the vertex first, which is also the AOS, axis of symmetry. Was there any other similarities in their work? They started off by finding the X value of the vertex. They found, how did they do that? Very good. Then both subbed in XV to calculate YV. Now this is how they're the same. Did anybody pick up on what was different? What connection do we have? Yes.
One is standard form and the other is
Very good. So different. Where they started was different. On the left, what's Christine starting with? Yep. So Christine starting with standard form. And how about Kate? Very good. We're going to really pay attention to our vocabulary today because having a strong connection between the name of a function and what it actually looks like is going to be very important. So Christine is starting with standard, Kate is starting with intercept. So now that we know that, B asks, what must Kate do to use Christine's method? What would she have to do?
rewrite it in standard form.
Very good. So here's Kate. To be able to use x equals negative b over 2a, she would have to be starting with what form? Standard. Kate would need to get standard form. to use what again? How do we calculate the x value of the vertex? Good. That's our prior knowledge from the last two sections. How about going the other way? What if we started with Christine? How would Christine approach this if she wanted to use Kate's method? Would she need to complete the square? If I look at Christine's, did anything jump out to you as something you could do first with this? Yes, we have a GCF. What's the GCF there? 2. So she would first pretend like you were her. So Christine would factor out GCF, which is 2. Then factor quadratic to get what form? What would she be working towards? Focus on the vocab. What form would she be working towards?
Intercept.
I heard vertex and I heard intercept. Let's go back and look. Kate's method, what did Kate start with? This is intercept. How do I know it's not vertex? There's no square, and what do we not see at the end? No k value. Very good. Towards intercept form, to get intercept form. Good. So now that our brains are warmed up on this rewriting concept, we are ready to really take a look at what the main focus of today will be. So if we look at our objective, students will be able to complete the square when what is the case? What does that say? A is not 1. Did you run into any of that last night? No. So we're going to do it today. And this dude is going to help us be great at it. Going to do it like a boss. Aren't you excited? I'm thrilled. It's going to be awesome. So the reason I asked you to have your notes out from yesterday is because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to transfer the 4 steps from the video notes to this worksheet. So take a look at the notes you took yesterday. Who can help me out with the first step from the notes you took? What must be true? Raise your hand if you need a copy still. Completing the square, yes. What's our first step? Myself? Very good. A value must be equal to 1. Who's got step 2? New voice. Looking for a new voice. Winta?
Move old C to find new C.
Very good. Move old C to find new C. Fantastic. 3. Who's got 3? New voice. Factor. Are we comfortable if I use PST, perfect square trinomial? If you want to, anybody who said no, that's fine. Up at the top, you can give yourself a little key. PST, get it, Ryan? No? Okay. Perfect square trinomial. It'll save us some writing when we start taking notes. Okay, and last but not least, Ashley? Very good. Isolate Y. This framework will apply to every single completing the square question we do, but as evidenced by all of this beautiful blank space on the page, clearly what's going to be the case? Showing your work is going to be important, and how involved will this question be? Very, but does that mean it's hard? No. Very good. Just because it takes us a little more time doesn't make it hard. We just need to be careful with how we show our work. Now, I literally filled this out like 3 different ways. So however you choose to show your work, like I show my work, I'm going to be writing notes on the side, your choice, where you put those notes. If you need help, Miss C will be coming around to help you with your notes, okay? So let's jump in. Our first step is the A value must be equal to 1. Is that the case here? No. Do we have a GCF? No. So take your highlighters, which Olivia was nice enough to pass out for us, if you didn't have one. What should I highlight? Where's A? This guy needs to not be there. This dude. Yeah, gotta take care of it. So, question. What operation is happening between -2 and the x squared? Multiplication. What would undo that? We're going to do something awesome. We're going to divide. We're going to divide each piece by -2. Straight away. And off to the side, let's write a little note. No GCF. No GCF. A is not 1. What did we just do? In your words, what did I just do? Divide what?
Divide by A.
Just one thing by A?
Divide everything.
Everything by A. Divide everything by A. Let's see what happens when we do that. This is going to stay y divided by -2 equals, what does this first term become? X squared. Good. Plus 3x minus 1/2. Let the fractions begin. Who's excited? Ms. Jay's going to be excited for everybody. Okay, so have we succeeded getting A to be 1?
Yes.
Yes. What's the next step? Move, well, not find it yet. What do you got to do first? Move what? Move the old C. What's my old C going to be? And how would you use math to move that, so to speak? Add it. What's it?
1/2.
Okay, so what you just said in words is exactly what we're going to do. Add 1/2. Add 1/2. Does anybody remember from the video, what do we also make space for? Yes, we're going to actually make a little hole. So what that's going to look like is y divided by -2 plus 1/2, because we just added it, plus something we don't know yet, equals x squared plus 3x plus a blank. Off to the side, what can I write that we just did? What did we just do in words? We moved old C to make space for? Write that down. Move old C to make space for new C. Awesome, we've got space. Fantastic. Step 2 is complete. Is step 2 complete? I got to find the new C. How am I going to do that?
3 divided by 2.
She's saying 3 divided by 2. Why is she saying that?
Because you have to divide your p-value and square it to find the p-value.
Did everyone hear what she said? Did you guys hear her over there? Can you say that louder?
You have to divide your b-value by 2 and square it to find your p-value.
Yes. So off to the side here, C equals B divided by 2 squared. Raise your hand if you remember that from yesterday's notes. Great job. See, we're bringing it back. So let's do that. What is the B value? 3. In my notes, I circled it so I would pay attention to it. If you want to highlight it with a second color, if you have one, you can. So C is going to equal what? How do I fill this in? 3 divided by 2 squared. Is 3 divisible by 2? Fraction. So excited. How do we square a fraction? What's this going to equal? That's not what's going to equal. Thank you for being polite, though. What is this going to equal? What's 3 squared squared? 3 divided by 2 squared.
2.25?
Yes for the decimal, but I would like a fraction.
9/4.
Thank you. 9/4. So think back to your Algebra 1 days. That exponent will apply to the numerator and the denominator. So I get 9/4. What am I going to do with this 9/4? Plug it in, plug it in. So plus 9/4 plus 9/4.
Yay, more facts.
I know, right? See, you guys are getting more excited about it. I love it. They don't, so we're going to have to do something about that, but that's okay. We can do it. So we just successfully completed the square. What is this now called?
Perfect square trinomial.
Very good. We now have a perfect square trinomial. PST. That's where it is. Box it. Make it huge.
I thought it couldn't be a perfect square though if the numbers weren't perfect squares.
We forced it to be. We forced it. So she brought up a good point. So for traditionally, a perfect square is like 1, 4, 9, yes? Mm-hmm. Nice whole numbers. Those are perfect squares by their nature. But we have created a perfect square trinomial by force using this awesome little calculation for C. We made that happen using math. Say that again? What do you mean, what about B? Tell me a different way.
A perfect square. But we didn't do it to it.
We did do something to it. We divided by 2 and we squared. So what's going to happen? We're going to factor this perfect square trinomial to see what we get, which is our next step, yes? Step 3, factor it. How am I going to factor this? So this is something I want to stress as important knowledge from yesterday. Please take your highlighter, highlight what's inside the square. That is what I use to write, that is what I use to factor. What you squared is what you write. Can you guys say that with me? What you squared. So what did I square here? Was that a positive or a negative 3/2? X plus 3/2 squared. What you squared is what you write inside. Yep. And I see some people really taking nice initiative to write down that little phrase on the side. So tonight, if you're not sure where that came from, you could draw yourself a little arrow and write what little comment. What you squared is what you write. Now, we're all set. We just factored, which is great. But what about what's on this left side? We do, but I mean, how are we going to handle this 1/2 plus 9/4? Combine like I agree, combining like terms. These are fractions that we can combine. To do that, though, we're going to need common denominators. Ideas on how we're going to do that?
You can divide. You can multiply 1/2 by 2.
So I hear dividing. Is 9 divisible by 4? No. Is 1 divisible by 2? No. So, see all this awesome blank space? Yes. Look. I got blank space everywhere. I vote bottom left corner. Bottom left corner, let's do 1/2 plus 9/4. How are you going to make that happen? Common denominator. What's my common denominator? 4. So what do we need to multiply this first fraction by to make that happen? Dos divided by dos. So what am I now actually adding? What plus what? 2/4 plus 9/4 equals 11/4. I know, right? 4th grade comes back. That's great. So I can now write this as y divided by -2 plus what value right here? Notice how we didn't try to do this work in our question. We kept it off to the side. Keep your mental work on paper. I didn't try to doing that in my head when I did this. Put it in writing. It gives your brain something to think about, but keep it off to the side. Now we can do our final step. What's that last step? Isolate y. How are we going to make that happen? What needs to move? How are we going to move a positive 11/4? Subtract 11/4. Subtract 11/4. Yes? We are. Keep that in mind. So I still have y divided by negative 2 equals, we're going to write exactly what we see. X plus 3 halves squared minus 11 fourths. Now my soul's like, man, we still got to do something with the negative 2. I agree, but notice, did I try doing that at the same time that I moved over my 11 fourths? No. Space is your friend. Let's use it. How are we going to get rid of this negative 2? Yes. Fantastic. Check this out. Bam. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. Awesome. Yes. Multiply this entire equation by negative 2. It's so exciting. When do we ever draw parentheses that big? It's the little things in life. So, I'm... Put it right there. Now I gotta blow it up. All right. Hey, don't knock it. That was. So what happens on the left? Y equals. You are literally going to distribute this negative 2 to each term. So we distribute it here, and now I have y. This will become negative 2 on the outside, and then I still have x plus 3 halves all squared. How are we going to deal with negative 2 times 11 fourths? Read my mind. Where are we going to work on that? Off to the side.
Bottom right corner.
Love it. Bottom right. It's saying, use me over here. Yay. Okay, so negative 2 times negative 11 fourths. How are we going to work with that? I like that. We can have our invisible denominator now become evident. How do we multiply fractions? Straight across. So what do I get? Negative 22? Positive 22 fourths. Yep, very good. I love it. Who heard what she said? So that becomes... And we are done. Bask in your awesomeness. You all deserve a high five. Fantastic question. 2 answers. 1, if you can work this through, you are a black belt in fractions. So, come on, black belt. Legit. Okay? And 2, it helps us to see that as crazy as this looks, what 4 steps dictated everything you just did? Yes, what's our vertex? Negative 3 halves, comma, which segues into the second part of my answer. If this was a real-world scenario, I would now know the minimum or the maximum. Ooh.
Minimum.
That's not for another time. This is prior knowledge. Hold on. Back up. Marvin, does this open up or down? How does he know that? So if this opens down, you just found the maximum.
Oh my God.
In real life, in a real world example, that's answer number 1. My true math teacher answer would be in real life, helps you get farther in math, finish this course, but ultimately, no, true. I'm serious. That's a real answer, right? This is going to be on the test, right?
Yeah.
But
Life, everything is math.
Everything is math in life. Some of us see that, some of us don't. But my real answer is I want you to have the confidence that you could see something like this and actually know what you did. And actually see something like this and say to yourself, wow, I just did that. That level of confidence will take you through to all parts of life. Who's going to college? Okay? You may not know. You may not know. If you are going to college, being able to work with fractions, that doesn't go away. So how much better is it to embrace it now and get those muscles now? I'm seeing this as like, see, that's like almost a thumbs up. I'll take the thumbs up.
Yeah, you
No.
can do your bills and everything else.
Yes, you can. So ultimately, yes, it's relevant for the test, but bigger picture, the confidence you get from being able to look at something like this and know that you can do it will take you far. Yes.
The A value that we got rid of in the beginning just gets like put in front of the parentheses.
It gets multiplied back through. Yep. Okay, who's got muscles? Because guess what we're about to work on? You know that song that says turn the page? Wow, I feel old. Never mind. Just turn the page. Just turn the page. Yeah, it's a good song. Okay, let's get started. Have our steps changed? No. What are we going to do first?
Write them in the corner so you know what they are.
You could. Get the A value one. Is there a GCF?
No.
No. Because it's 5 divisible by 8? No. So what are we going to do first? Go ahead and do that. Fantastic question. Did you guys hear what you asked? Say it louder. I say we work with f of x. No. Let's work with f of x. It's no different. All right, so f of x divided by 2 equals... No, but for the purpose of our notes, I want you to see that it's really not bad. We're just going to carry f of x all the way through. It is not. It's an extra 2 parentheses and a letter. Stop. Stop. Stop with the nonsense. All right, what's on the right side? What do I get? Very good. What did you successfully just do?
Make A 1.
A equals 1. Check. Next. What do we got? What's that going to look like? -4 minus 4. Add a blank. Love it. Let's make a whole. So f of x divided by 2 minus 4 plus something we don't know yet equals x squared plus 5 halves x plus something we don't know yet.
Is it always going to be plus something or could it be minus something?
Great question. It will always be plus something. If we end up working with a negative b value, then it would become subtraction. But the default operation will be addition. What did we successfully just do? Move C, check. What do we need to do? Did we do that yet?
No.
Okay. How am I going to do that? Love that answer. Did you hear what you said?
No.
Say it louder.
Top left corner.
Great vote. What's going to happen in the top left corner?
B divided by 2 squared.
So C equals B divided by 2 squared. Missy, brace yourself. You ready?
No.
All right, guys. What's this going to look like?
It's going to be...
So excited. No.
It's going to be 5 over 2. No, 5 over 2 over 2. No, you can't do that.
I can't do that?
You can. Yeah, you can. You're not allowed to divide a fraction. Over 2 divided by 2 over 1.
Keep going.
And then...
That's the same as multiplying by? Dividing by, you're on the right track. What's the reciprocal of 2 divided by 1?
1 over 2.
So, dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by?
1/2.
Yes.
What?
Mind blown. She totally gets a high five for that one. That was fantastic.
You get a sticker.
She does get a sticker.
Sticker. How you say you get a sticker?
Okay, so we're going to do what she said. 5 halves times what? Is what? Don't leave me hanging here. There you go. I need these. Just one. Okay. What is 5/2 times 1/2? 5/4. But what do we still need to do to 5/4? Which gets, you're welcome. Which gets me what? Bam. Where's that 25/16 going to go? In the blank. I agree. Notice, but look guys, did you try to fit any of this work into the actual solution? No. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Did we successfully find C? Yes. I love decimals. I do. I generally do. But fractions are just so much cooler. Headaches are good. Headaches mean we learn. What do we need to do next? Yes. Who heard what she said? Do we have a perfect square trinomial? Yes. Perfect square trinomial. What do we need to do with this perfect square trinomial? Okay, good. Where do we look? Who remembers? Where do I look?
What? Before you squared it.
What we squared. We're not scared. What we squared. What did we square? So, can someone tell me what to write? X. Very good. No. What's going to have to happen over here?
Combine like terms. Well, yeah, add.
Yes. So I want to pause right there because from here on, really it's just algebra skills. So I really want us to check and see what we actually accomplished today. Okay? Our objective was to complete the square when a equals 1. Did we do that? Yes, we did. What did we not get to? Yeah. So I'm actually going to send this home with you for tonight. It's not going to be due till next week because it's a summary, but I'll introduce that to you in the flip notes for tonight. So we successfully completed the square when a equals 1. So your job tonight, there's 4 question assignment on this. There is a type 3. If you want it now, you can take it. I have the copies. And this will be due Monday. All right? So right now, as Miss C and I get you all set with the papers you need for tonight, you, either by yourself or with the person next to you, finish this. No, optional. Depends on your schedule, okay? The type 3 will not be optional tomorrow, but if you choose to take it tonight, you can, right? So we're going to get you set with what I just described. Go ahead and work with each other. Get your final answer. We'll hold on to that, see if it's needed.